Hugh Jacobs is Executive Director of Volunteer for Community Impact. He's joining me today to speak about the many opportunities available through the organization for senior community involvement. Tell us about yourself and the organization.
Sure thing. Well, as you just mentioned, my name is Hugh Jacobs. I'm the Executive Director of Volunteers for Community Impact. We are an organization that serves the citizens of Central Florida by engaging caring volunteers. And most of our volunteers, I'd say probably about 90% of them, are age 55 and older. So we're primarily involved in keeping seniors engaged in their local communities, keeping them active, and keeping them as an impactful member, making a difference for everybody to make Central Florida a better place to live and work.
What is the main focus of Volunteers for Community Impact?
I would say that our main focus is to primarily serve children. The vast majority of our volunteers are engaged in helping children achieve academic success. So we have volunteers that are working in Head Start and Early Head Start and VPK. And they're working with pre-literate children, helping them to get a love of books and reading. And then we have another group of volunteers called our Foster Grandparent Program. And our Foster Grandparent volunteers primarily work in public schools. And they work with first, second, and third graders on academic skills, improving their reading and their literacy, improving their math skills and their numeracy, and sometimes it's working with them on emotional development, helping them understand how to interact positively with other children and how to behave in a social setting. So our volunteers are working with young children on all aspects of their educational development.
What different programs that someone may qualify for and participate in?
We have, I would say, 4 main programs that we have for volunteers in the community. The first one and the largest one is our Foster Grandparent Program. And that's a program that I really love because we have 2 clients with that. We have the children that receive the service, but we also have the seniors themselves. Because Foster Grandparents is an anti-poverty program, we target low-income senior citizens as the volunteers. And they volunteer about 15 to 25 hours a week in the school system, in public schools, in Head Starts, in Boys and Girls Clubs. So they're working with children that really need the loving care and attention from a senior citizen. But because those senior citizens are low income, we can pay them a stipend that will go on top of their Social Security or retirement. You know how when a senior citizen, if they can't make ends meet with their Social Security, they go get a job. And so let's say they go get a job as a Walmart greeter. The more money that Walmart greeter pays them, the less money Social Security pays them. So they really don't get that far ahead. Whereas our program, being a foster grandparent, any money that we pay them goes on top of their Social Security. It can't be considered income for the purpose of assigning any sort of public assistance or benefits. So it actually does help that senior citizen get out of poverty. So I really like that program because we have essentially 2 clients. We have the senior volunteer that we're helping lift out of poverty, and also the client that they're serving. Our second program is a very similar program. In fact, it's modeled on foster grandparents, but it's called Senior Companions. And the program runs the same from the volunteer side. We recruit a low-income senior citizen. We pay them a stipend to volunteer, but instead of a child, their client is another senior citizen. So we assign them a frail elderly client who is in danger of being institutionalized. So we're going to keep that elder living in their own home as long as possible. And we do that by having a senior companion volunteer go in and help provide service. They may cook meals, they may cook lunch, they may run errands to the pharmacy and pick up medicine for their client. They may run to the grocery store and pick up food for the client to make sure that they'll have food in their home. They may help the client write letters to stay in touch with their family. So again, the goal is to keep that elder living in their own home as long as possible. Our third program is the Retired and Senior Volunteer Program. That's a program for anybody who's older than 55 who wants to volunteer. We don't pay them a stipend, but they can volunteer as little as they want. If they only have, an hour a month, or they can volunteer as much as they want. If they're just, bored from being retired and they're sick and tired of playing golf or fishing, and they want to volunteer, we have some volunteers that are volunteering 35, 40 hours a week as if it's a full-time job. So our RSVP volunteers, they contact us, they say, I'd like to volunteer, I don't know what I want to do. So we can show them all the different nonprofits that we partner with, and we can have them volunteer at different nonprofits until they find one they really like, or we can help them, volunteer at a different one each week if they want. And then our last program is our Otter program, which is Older Teachers Teaching Early Readers. And that's a program for anybody who's older than 16. So if someone's younger than 55 and they still want to volunteer with us, they can volunteer in our Otter program. And that's reading books to small children who have not yet learned to read. So it's going to a kindergarten or a Head Start or an early Head Start, and essentially reading a book to small children, and then showing them the pictures and asking them questions about the book and seeing what they took away from the story time. So again, we're making a difference for young children in our area as well. So those are our main programs.
What is the process for becoming a volunteer?
Visit our website, find out about the different programs we offer. So if someone wants to volunteer with us, I would say visiting volunteersforcommunityimpact.org would be a great way to start, vcifl.org. And if someone is a senior citizen and they're low income and they're looking to maybe get a stipend while they volunteer, then they may want to check out our foster grandparent program or our senior companion program. If someone is older than 55 and they just want to volunteer for the community and they're not really sure what they're interested in, maybe I want to work with kids, maybe I want to help other seniors, maybe I want to help people who are economically disadvantaged, or work at a food pantry and help families that are facing food insecurity get emergency food, then I would have them check out our RSVP program. And if they're not yet 55, then I would encourage them to look into our Otter program, where they can volunteer to read stories to young children. And the great thing about our Otter program is they can also do that virtually. We have opportunities where people, they say, oh, I'd love to volunteer, but I just can't find the time. But maybe they can find time to get online for 15, 20 minutes in the morning, or half an hour in the afternoon, and read to children over the internet, using a camera. And they can help children do homework assistance. Maybe they're in a single parent family, or their parents are working, so they get home from school and they need help with their homework, and there's no one to help them. So we've got the volunteers that can, again, over the internet, meet with the child over, internet platform, and help them, understand their homework assignment, and help coach them to finish their homework. So again, we have those opportunities as well. All of that's on our website. So I would encourage anyone who's interested to visit our website, volunteersforcommunityimpact.org, and see what opportunities appeal to them.
Why are these volunteer opportunities important for our senior community and the community as a whole?
Well, I think that for the seniors, there's a wonderful TED Talk that was given by a researcher with Harvard University, and they did a longitudinal study where they tracked people for their entire lives. And so this was an 80-year study. And when folks were in their twilight years looking back on their life, these researchers from Harvard discovered that it didn't matter if they were white or black or gay or straight or rich or poor, if they had made a lot of money in their life, or if they had just struggled to get by their whole life. When folks reflect on the quality of their life and what was important and meaningful, the one thing that was common throughout everybody, rich, poor, black, white, was how connected they are to their community. If you're a senior and you're living alone and you're not connected to your community, you feel as if society has abandoned you. But if you're connected to your community, you're making a difference, you're going to the house of worship of your choice, you've got civic and social clubs like the Rotary Club or the Kiwanis Club. If you're a member and you're connected to the community, you feel your quality of life is better. And that's what we do for seniors. We keep them engaged, we keep them volunteering, we keep them making a difference for people in need in Central Florida, whether that's, a child or a homeless person or somebody who needs coaching to get back into the workforce, coaching on job interviews and resume skills and things like that. So our seniors are providing a lifetime of wisdom to the clients they're serving. And I think that keeping them connected is making a difference in their lives, as well as all the people they touch. And as to making a difference to the community, I almost think that's self-evident. If someone is worried about getting enough to eat, they're not thinking about anything else. And, our volunteers are helping people who are food insecure. If someone is homeless and, they need a place to stay, our volunteers are working with homeless shelters, helping to find those folks a safe place to stay and taking care of homeless children. If our volunteers, and I know that this may seem trivial, but we've got these sweet little old ladies that are knitting and crocheting. And you would think, oh, well, knitting and crocheting, that's just a hobby. But they're knitting and crocheting little hats for premature infants, and Afghans for people who are wheelchair bound, who can, put an Afghan over their lap and keep their legs warm. So even these volunteers that are doing something that we think, oh, it's just knitting, it's just crocheting. But for the premature infants that get those little hats, the hospital staff tells us how much the families appreciate receiving those goods. So And then again, the children in the school that work with the volunteers, they love the volunteers. When the volunteers show up to read and help them with their schoolwork, the children just run up and they hug them, and the children are so appreciative, and the teachers are appreciative. So I think that the difference that our volunteers make in the lives of people in need here in Central Florida, it's self-evident.
Is there anything else you would like to share?
The thing that I'd really like to talk about is our Senior Companion Program. It's a brand new program. We just started it July 1st. We've hired our Senior Companion Program Manager, and she's hitting the ground running. So I think that since that's our newest program, I think that's the one that I'm most excited about. I think that there is definitely a need for it. There's a lot of folks that are worried about their elderly parents who live alone, and so having a companion that can visit them and make sure that their home is safe, there's no trip and fall obstacles or dangers, that they're getting enough to eat, that they're taking their medicine. I think that it's something that we have too many senior citizens who are living alone who are in danger of being institutionalized. The Florida Department of Elder Affairs did a study a few years ago, and they found that food insecurity is a huge problem for our elders. They discovered that there were three main reasons why elders were food insecure. And the first one was, they said that they had nowhere to buy groceries. They lived in communities that didn't have a local grocery store, and we all know about food deserts. The second one was that they didn't have the mobility to go to a grocery store. So they didn't have a car, they were too old to drive, public transportation isn't convenient or doesn't go to the place where they need to go. And the last one was that they didn't like to cook for some reason. So they were too sick to cook, they didn't feel well to cook, or they didn't like eating alone. That they just, I'm only one person, and this is something that I admit, even myself, as a single person, you just don't want to cook for yourself. It just seems to be more hassle, and I guess so I wind up just going out and eating out. But if I was an elderly person that didn't drive or had to rely on public transportation, maybe I wouldn't go out to a restaurant, so I just wouldn't eat. So those are issues that we can address with this program. So we're going to have senior companions who will run grocery errands for folks, make sure that they have food, and they'll cook for them. They'll make lunch to make sure that they're getting something nutritious to eat. And if they don't like eating alone, well then, our volunteer will eat lunch with them, so so that's an issue that we can solve. And we just need folks that want to volunteer to help keep people living independently. I know that I don't want to spend my twilight years in a nursing home. I know I want to spend my golden years living at home. And so I think that everybody feels that way. I mean, I've never met anybody that says, yeah, I'm looking forward to going in a nursing home. I can't wait to go in a nursing home when I get old. Nobody has ever said that to me. Everybody says, man, I don't want to go in a nursing home. My grandma got put in a nursing home. I'll never do that to my mom and dad. So for folks like that, let's keep people living independently through our Senior Companion Program. So I'm very excited that this is a new program and we're getting it off the ground. And so I have a lot of hope for this one. And folks can visit our website and find out more about this.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here and for all the services you provide.
Yeah, I appreciate it too. Thanks for this opportunity. Much appreciated.
Thank you. If you're enjoying this show, please subscribe to our channel and follow our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter accounts.